Kavitha Rajeevkumar is a B school lecturer turned entrepreneur turned coach and marketing consultant for service businesses. She helps them get more clients and accelerate their businesses. She is a mentor to Women Will program by Google to empower rural women in India via entrepreneurship. She is a Kerala State President of Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries WICCI Entrepreneurship Council. Kavitha is on a mission to help 100,000 Indian women earn at least 1 to 2 lakh rupees per month doing what they love to do. So we wanted to pick Kavitha's brains about what are the different challenges faced by solopreneurs, especially women. What was her own journey like, and what are the mindset changes required to realize the potential of small businesses? Kavitha also gave tips about how to manage time and schedule your priorities. So, if you're curious about the world of solopreneurs or know one, you will find this episode very useful.
This is the CTQ Smartcast, where we have conversations about upleveling, deliberate practice, and getting future relevant.
Welcome, Kavitha. Welcome to this CTQ Smartcast.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah. So, we'll get started with a slightly tricky one, Kavitha. So, what do you know about small businesses and solopreneurship that most people don't?
Well, see, what most people believe is that a business can be taken to success if you have the right education or experience or know how to apply certain tactics or strategies, or they think that the success can be attributed to a better team and so on and so forth. But what most people don't know is our own, when I say our own, your own, you as a business owner, your own resolution to succeed is the most important than anything else. In truth, motivation comes from within the individual. No one can motivate another person. You motivate yourself. See, others can only inspire you to get motivated to achieve what you have desired or what goal you have set forth. And so the secret sauce is in you. Ultimately, it is you and your mindset what counts.
Right. Yeah. And I think this is even more important for solopreneurship because they're always fighting a lone battle, right?
Yes.
They don't have others, so having a co-founder who's also going through the same trials and tribulations makes it slightly easier because you know that you have a co-passenger. But for solopreneurs and small businesses, I think it can be a huge
Yeah.
struggle at times, right?
Because they have to perform more than one function.
Right.
In most cases, they are, an all-rounder.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we usually talk about this, team where, there's a goalkeeper. There are, the last podcast we had this conversation where one of the founders, he spoke about his team working like a football team, where he said there's goalkeepers, defense, midfield, and striker, and everyone contributes. So, in the case of a solopreneur, it's the same person who's doing all the jobs.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that is where the mindset plays a very, very, very important role.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, before we get into the mindset, one thing that struck me when in your answer to the first question was the word success, right? So, what are the different definitions of business success that a solopreneur or an or a small business entrepreneur should aim for? Which is very different from how we look at the larger startups where they're looking at IPO or acquisition or something like that. What should solopreneurs be looking at in terms of defining business success?
The definition of business success differs from person to person, from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, from solopreneur to solopreneur. But according to me, business success isn't measured on the days when the sun shines. It has to be measured on a dark, stormy, cloudy days.
Right.
If you can't absorb failure, you're never going to meet success. And success means embracing difficulties, overcoming challenges, and making the most of those bad days and difficult situations. It is what is going to make you stronger and better. So, success is not just about making money, it's more than that. Sharing your knowledge with others who are in need, helping others, making an impact in the lives of people, bringing a change. It can be even the slightest change, and making the world around you a better place to live.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So coming back to you, Kavitha, how did your journey be like, and what got you to where you are right now? I know that you started off teaching, and then you did a bunch of things. So if you can just quickly take us through your own journey.
See, when I wanted to know the options of working from home after quitting my 9 to 5 job, there weren't anybody to help me out. In the sense, they didn't know exactly how to guide me with uh, what talent I had.
Mm.
Later, when I started my chocolate business too, I had to learn many things on my own by trial and error. Let it be how to start a chocolate business from home, or how to sell online, or how to market locally, what are the legal requisites, whom to approach for some information, where to get my graphics done, etc. Important thing I struggled at that time was to market my small business. I didn't know how to brand, how to position my business in the market, how to use social media for growing my business, what are the ways to automate some of the tasks. I didn't even know whether I could automate at that point of time. Now I know. So it took me 12 to 13 years to learn all these. So at first, I uh, used to just share these information with my students and clients if they ask me something pertaining to this. But later, I decided to come up with a coaching program where I included all these things to help women start, build, and grow their business. Moreover, this helps other women who are talented but don't know how to earn a living um, using that talent or skill. And this enables me to help other women start, build, and grow a business around their passion or expertise, thereby empowering them in real sense. Because I personally believe that real empowerment comes when a woman is financially independent and her own family, her society starts accepting her as an integral part of the family or the society.
Right. Yeah. So, give me some examples of these businesses that people are taking up, especially women entrepreneurs. What kind of business are these?
Yeah, people who come to me come from different niches, right from starting a brick and mortar store like a boutique or a food business or a cafe or a chocolate gifting service, or it can be from a home, like offering coaching around some kind of cooking or home gardening, herb gardening, crochet stitching, design, pattern designing, phonics training, even digital marketing agency. So people come from different backgrounds and different industries.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And where do these people typically get stuck? Like you said that information is not available freely. Has that changed now? And what is that point at which they realize that yeah, I need help, which could help our audience also to either for themselves or to point out someone else to think that yeah, this is the point when you need that external help. Where do they really get stuck?
The first place they get stuck is before starting the business. They might be having an idea, but they don't know how to validate that or do the market research and find out exactly before jumping into investment and running it for a couple of years and then realizing that this was a mistake. They shouldn't have done this. And secondly, they struggle with funding in starting a business. So, though there are a lot of schemes and loans available, due to various reasons, it is not reaching the right people who need it.
Mm.
And thirdly, and that is probably the biggest reason, uh, biggest factor where they get stuck is marketing their products or services. So nothing much has changed, though right now the youngsters know how to utilize social media to grow their business, but still people are not much aware about the various strategies which they can utilize to market their products.
Right. And is this generally a gap in terms of the education as well? Because I mean, I did my MBA in 2002. I mean, I passed out in 2004. I don't remember from my curriculum anything that would have helped me in starting a business of my own. You know, whether a startup in the traditional sense or as a solopreneur. Like you said, maybe youngsters are more aware of social media now. They're seeing other people, but are there enough courses to plug that gap in terms of education, or is it just making mistakes, stumbling, and learning on your own?
Yes, now that's a great question. Actually, much debatable also. We need to talk more about this and discuss the various aspects of this. My personal opinion is that we should be teaching all this right from our school days, because see, there is no uh, right age to start a own business, especially when it comes to a small business or solopreneurship. There is no age to start that, or the right educational background. If we look at our own Indian culture, we have numerous examples where we had talent and we had been utilizing that to the best, which we aren't doing in today's time. So it is high time we rethink about the syllabus, what we are offering in our schools as well as colleges. Even for that matter, the B schools have to rethink this, and they should teach all these things, because even I'm also an MBA, but what we learn and what we practice is totally different.
Yeah, and some of these professions that you're talking about, the small businesses that you're talking about, like a design agency or a bakery or somebody, trying to teach something to someone or an artist, right? These are very, very basic problems that they are trying to solve there, right? It is not like, they're coming up with something radically different or anything like that, but it is extremely important, needed for the society, needed for people. Each of these solopreneurs will have their own niche, market segments, right? So I'm sure this is also a very competitive environment for them. There will be 100 bakers that you can search for if you if you do a Google search today. So how should these people not just survive but actually thrive in an environment like this? And what are the things that they can utilize? You mentioned things like funding, and you mentioned things like the coaching that you are doing, but what else can these people do in order to thrive, not just survive?
Yes, this is where they have to think on uh, standing out from the competition
Hmm.
instead of just following the successful. Because in our country, the one trend what we see is, irrespective of the industry, if one business has become successful, there will be hundreds of people to follow that. Exactly the same thing. But instead of that, come up with something different. Let us take the case of bakeries. See, India has got a rich food culture. We have numerous delicacies and dishes which is not available in other part of the world. So instead of offering the same cake and bakes and Indian sweets, which most of the bakeries, more than 90% of the bakeries offer more or less the same menu. Instead of that, let them come up with a different menu. Let them stick on to a speciality so that they'll also get business. The competition will be less, and they can survive in the longer run. This is something like which we business people call the blue ocean and the red ocean. Most people are trying to struggle in a big ocean where there are big fishes as well as various types of fishes which can pose threat. Whereas if they try to become a big fish in a small pond, they can rule that pond.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, coming to the next question, Kavitha, you mentioned about these entrepreneurs, small business owners. Is there anything, different or any kind of typical challenges that women entrepreneurs face, which is different from what, men do or others do?
Yes, see, entrepreneurship itself is a challenge when it comes to women. And especially if the owner is a woman, then um, despite their efforts and expertise or the skills or the educational background or the work experience, what they have, even the family background, female entrepreneurs and business owners, when I say business owners, only small business owners, okay, they often struggle a lot more than their male counterparts to make it big and get recognized in the industry, in the society, and even in the business community. One reason could be lack of social and institutional support, uh, the difficulties what they have in balancing responsibilities mm, between family and business, um, the poor funding prospects for women, the pressure to stick on to the traditional gender roles,
Mm.
lack of skill upgrading, because women in India, especially women's education gets over once she gets married and have kids. After that, there are very less people who pursue education. So, and the stiff competition from their male counterparts. Um, so, generally, our society is not that women friendly. So, all these reasons um, are challenges faced by women entrepreneurs.
Right. And any examples that you can give of challenges that you overcame yourself as being a woman entrepreneur, or people that you've helped. Any examples that you can give, which can be an inspiration for people to learn from.
Yes. See, when I started my chocolate business, I had approached different organizations for guiding me on how to start this and what are the requisites for starting a chocolate business from home. And nobody was able to help me out there. And though our government claims that like there is a single window clearance system at that point of time, and I still believe that it hasn't much changed. That is available only for big business houses, established corporates, established business um, owners with with political influence. It is not available to common man like me or anybody like me in the society. So that is one thing where like I had to walk from one department to another department, and I actually quit. I quit. That day decided that I'm not going to take any of these favors. And that is when I started looking out for opportunities on online, doing my business online. The second thing where I struggled a lot was to get some kind of funding to start my own chocolate manufacturing unit, as well as an outlet, um, which I wanted to do it in a specialized way, where we only get to see in countries like, US, Europe, and all, Switzerland, and all. When we go there, like, people get to experience chocolate making and also taste and purchase that. So at that point of time, there wasn't anybody. I was not jobless, so I didn't had assets to pledge for taking a loan. So no proper guidance or help was received um, for getting the fund. Ultimately, I had to stick on to that as a home based small business, which I could never develop further. So even today, like, for my community where I work for this wiki, I just drop into the banks when I have time and inquire about loans to know whether has the situation changed or not. And I don't see much changes even today. So that is where this incident made me think that there is no point in running behind the schemes and loans, and you can earn money doing a lot of other things online nowadays. You make your own money and invest that in your business. That is what I advise my students and my clients.
And I'm sure a big part of doing this online has to be how people use social media. And we know you do a lot of things as part of your work. You're active on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. You run two communities along with your coaching and mentoring. So how do you find time to do all of these activities?
I have automated a lot of repeatable activities like social media, scheduling, my own meeting scheduling when it comes to my students, or client meeting scheduling, calendar entries, payment collection, etc. Moreover, I prioritize my activities. Say, for example, if I have to decide whether to write a LinkedIn article or do my marketing activity first, I'll be giving preference to the marketing activity first, then writing a LinkedIn article. Or maybe, like, if I have to make a choice between spending time with my family and spending time on social media, so I'll be giving importance to my family. So the prioritization plays an important role. I know, like, what are the major activities that I need to do that will take me towards my goal every single day, and I give priority to that rather than on uh, simply wasting away my time on the social media.
Right. And social media is just one thing, but what I picked, from what you said was doing the right kind of prioritization, right, and scheduling your priorities. That I think is very important. So, how do you help solopreneurs figure out what their priorities should be? What are the priorities which are going to help them achieve their goal? Because I see that being a big gap. They're doing a lot of stuff. Yes, they're keeping themselves busy, but the outcome is not helping them in getting closer to their business goals. So how do you help them understand importance of priorities?
There are mainly two types of activities: activities that will give you results, and activities that will not give you results. Again, like, that is a complex thing. I'll make it much simpler. There are activities which will take you to your final objective, whether it is lead generation or branding or creating awareness about your business, or getting clients. So you should have a goal why you are utilizing one medium, or why you are doing some kind of activity. So based on that objective, you have to decide what are the actions that will take you one step closer to that goal. Say, for example, if it is getting clients through social media, what you need to do to get clients, what can be done every single day to get clients, and give importance to that and spend the first half of the day only for that, irrespective of whatever other distractions are attracting you. You need to be very particular about that. Whereas when it comes to the um, non-result oriented activities, like checking the mail, or checking whether your social media post has got how many likes, and though spending time chit chatting with your friends and things like that, those are all non-productive activities. uh, do all that towards the fag end of the day, when uh, you leave, it's time for you to leave the job and stop working. So like that, you need to have a clear plan, which is little difficult. It's, though it sounds easy, if you observe it closely and make a list of all the activities which you're doing every single day for at least 1 month, you will know exactly where you are wasting your time, and where you need to cut down and improvise.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, I think easier said than done. It's very important to first know where your time is being spent, and that is when you can actually make some changes. The big challenge that most people face is not even knowing where the time is going. So then, how do you optimize? What you don't even know, right? Yeah. So, can you tell us more about your work as a member of Sheroes? And you mentioned WICCI, the Kerala Entrepreneurship Council. What are you doing there? How did that come about? And how are you helping people there?
Yes. See, in both these places, I was active in almost all social media platforms. Um, I was creating my own branding, and rather than that, like, I was posting what different things pertaining to entrepreneurship, and starting this business, growing online business, and things like that. I was just part of the community of Sheroes, and looking at the quality of the content as well as the videos which I posted there. And I had been helping other women when they asked some questions pertaining to these areas of entrepreneurship, business development, and things like that. So Heroes people approached me and asked whether I can become a mentor with them. It's a huge community with more than 50,000 members in India, across, I think, people from every state is there. So Google India is having their CSR program called Women Will, which they are doing in association with Sheroes community. And they are empowering rural women in India by helping them start small businesses. So I'm a mentor there, and still a part of that community. And similarly, like Wiki, Kerala's Entrepreneurship Council was started very recently, just 2.5, 3 months back. Though Wiki has got national presence, Kerala chapter was started very recently, and we intend to help women residing in Kerala, as well as women from Kerala who are residing either in Kerala or outside Kerala, to build and grow their business and get guidance, support, mentorship, training, skill upgrading, and probably even arranging funding options for them.
Right. Yeah. And you've been working in this space for some time. like you mentioned earlier before we started recording that you started in your chocolate business in 2008, 10, that was the time. So how have things changed in India for solopreneurs, and what has changed in the last 2 years post pandemic?
Oh, yes, a lot has changed. The way businesses are done, the way buyers purchase, the mode, the medium of product or service delivery, buyer behavior, their choices, their preferences. A lot has changed. See, we saw tremendous growth in digitization, everything right from customer care to um, the um, the way education is provided, education is taken, even healthcare was provided, everything saw digitization, and artificial intelligence got a lot of importance during these days. It has created a divide world, in the sense now the whole world is in a different era, pre-COVID and post-COVID. And I think we might not go back to the same old days as in which prevailed till 2019. It's going to be a different world now, and it's going to stay more or less like this. I don't know till how long.
Right. Yeah. As I keep saying, COVID has been one of the chief transformation officers for most companies. Things have
Yes.
changed overnight. So, coming to the last question that we had, Kavitha, so do you have any recommendations of books, podcasts, or people to follow on social media, who have shaped your thinking, and, who you would recommend to solopreneurs, anywhere in India?
In case if somebody wants to have a strong entrepreneurial mindset, then Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is one book which they have to read. It's not enough they read once, they have to reread it a couple of times to understand exactly what is the principle behind that Napoleon Hill has wanted to convey. That is one book that has really impacted me, and I recommend that to every single person who wants to develop or is planning to get into entrepreneurship. Secondly, there are a lot of podcasts out there. It all depends upon your niche and industry. I generally listen to marketing podcasts by Russell Brunson, and I also follow him online. He is one person who has again impacted me, just like Ratan Tata in India. This is one person whom I have found to be extremely humble in spite of uh, being a big influential marketer in the whole world. Um, Moreover, his marketing strategies has helped me a lot in molding myself and in me getting into online coaching and consulting space. So I have huge respect for Mr. Ratan Tata as well as Russell Brunson. And of course, like if you're looking for your own personal development, why I'm coming back again and again to personal development is, as far as we solopreneurs and small business owners are concerned, we are the number one factor that can take our businesses to success or failure. It is we who are stopping ourselves from becoming successful, or we who are responsible for failing in our endeavors. So every single business owner needs to develop himself or herself, and Tony Robbins is the one person whom you should follow. Of course, his books are also there, both podcasts and YouTube channel is also there.
Yeah, I think that's a great set of recommendations, Kavitha. But before we let you go, going to end with this section where we ask all our guests what their hot take is on what is the future relevance of some of the things that I will give you. So I'll give you a term or a thing or a concept or an idea, and you should give me your hot take on what do you think is their future relevance. So the first one is, what do you think is the future relevance of solopreneurs in India?
Huge potential. Small businesses had been growing, so there is huge potential. So they have to um, find a niche market, a specialized market, stand out from the crowd, and just go out and get it.
Right. Okay. What do you think is the future relevance of podcasts?
India is a great potential market, and we are still at a nascent stage when it comes to podcasting. So if you have an idea, if you are knowledgeable, just this is the right time to start your own podcast.
Okay. And the final one, what do you think is the future relevance of YouTube?
YouTube, yes, videos are the in thing. It has been there for a while now, but it is going to be there for the coming years too. At least not in the near future. That's not going to change anyone in the near future. So irrespective of your industry or your specialization or what exactly you are doing, you need to have a YouTube channel and create videos, because videos is the main um, content what people are liking and watching. So, and moreover, it is going to remain there for years. If you are planning a business, uh, and going to play it for a longer duration, then YouTube is the platform that you need to concentrate.
On that note, Kavitha, I think the line that is going to remain with me is, if you're in it to play the long game, right? And for solopreneurs, I think they have to be in it for the long game. And the big takeaway for me is also the fact that the only thing that is stopping the growth of small businesses is the owner or solopreneur himself or herself. The more they focus on developing themselves, the more successful their business is going to be. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot. These were great answers, a lot of takeaways for me, and I'm sure our audience will also resonate with a lot of what you've spoken. Thanks a lot for this excellent conversation.
Thanks for inviting me in CTQ.
If you like this, we know you care about your and your team's future relevance. You can find us and click on the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Google and Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram. There are two ways to enter the insider group of friends of CTQ. A Telegram channel where you'll get daily tidbits that help you think about future relevance, and our weekly email newsletter called The Upleveler. We've got some fabulous testimonials from our subscribers. We share special discount codes for CTQ compounds and exclusive invitations to our events on both these channels. Just go to choosetothink.com, that is think with a Q, and you'll find all the links to subscribe. You owe it to yourself.